Hey everybody, I'm Boggs. Welcome to the Obscure Toy Files. Today I'm doing an outdoor review because I had the opportunity to get out for a little bit, and I said, I still have to do that review of Overkill. And since he's a carded figure, it's easier to decard him in the wild than it is to put a vehicle together or something. Not that I have any more vehicles to assemble except for the Swamp Masher, but I explained that yesterday is why I'm not doing that. So basically for today, we're going to be looking at the 1992. I believe it's 92. G.I. Joe Talking Battle Commanders Overkill. Now, he was a figure I've seen before. There was a special multi-pack available, I think on smalljoes.com and Big Bad Toy Store back in the day, where it was Overkill in a different color without any backpack or equipment like that. He came with his weird pincer thingy. He came with his weapons and stuff, but he didn't have the backpack. And then it also came with some version 2 bats, but they were colored. 3 of them were colored to look like a regular 1985, 86 bats. And the other 2 were like translucent red, and they were supposed to be like thermal bats that were overheating and they were going to explode or something. I'd gotten that pack, but it wasn't the same as getting the actual Overkill because his backpack does serve some purposes for the toy. Like it's a storage mount for one of his accessories in his hand. So it isn't without use. The main reason why it's been taking me so long to review this guy is because, undoubtedly, as we can see from the push buttons on the back, they don't work. Because, as this thing's from 1992, the batteries are quite dead. So finding replacement batteries took a little bit of work. But the fine folks over at yojos.com explained to me what kind of batteries they are, which I believe they're these ones on the bottom. I went over to Harbor Freight and picked up this multi-pack because apparently buying little batteries anymore is just an exercise in futility. And I'm like, all right, that's cool, but I want to put because I'd like to have it work, And then I have my special little kit with all my stuff to put my Joe back together again after I take him apart. Because I really don't know. I've had Overkill a long time ago. I haven't had him in a while, so I really don't know how he's constructed. I mean, I know that the backpack is screwed onto his back and his back is flat. But as he still has an O-ring and, has to be assembled that way, there must be another way to, get him open. The card itself isn't in horrible shape, but it is lifting already. You can see as the sun comes out, it makes a horrible glare. But you can see there's some separation right here already. So the bubble's starting to come up. Because this is what happens, too. If a if a carded figure isn't stored in a climate-controlled environment, the adhesive on the blister bubbles tend to just dry out. I don't know where this was stored. It smells a little musty, so it could have been in a basement or an attic or someplace. The bubble isn't yellowed, but it is exactly, like you can see a bit now since the sun went under the cloud, but you can see how the bubble's lifting. There's not really anything written here, so I might be able to just pull this bubble off clean without actually ripping up any of the background. Let's see. So I try to save the cardback art as much as I can because I like to look at it. Actually, yeah, that's pretty much coming right off. Just like that. Boom. Yes. This is an example of how the adhesive was just dried up. And you can actually see the bubble is yellowed a little bit, or at least the tray is. Again, not all samples are like this. It's just because this one was kept in not the best environment. There's not much inside it. It does come with the Secret of the Dark Lagoon mail-away kit thingy. And this was one of those little mail-away things that a lot of kids in the 90s saw as a way to get get access to some 80s stuff. So you have the Skyhawk, the Whale, you have the Cobra Jetpack, you have the Cobra Battle Barge, which I'd like to get because it's an aquatic vehicle and it can go with my Cobra Oceanic Division, or COD, that I have in my G.I. Joe 3.75 Division photocomic. And then it has the Cobra Sea Ray, which is a cool vehicle. I have picked it up. I've had it for a while, but I got it loose. So I haven't done any unboxings of it or anything like that. So these little things were always neat. Also a 2-pack G.I. Joe martial arts unit, which came with Quick Kick and I believe that's Jinx. Yeah. So like I said, it was cool. Because again, these things, like the Sea Ray, that was like an 88 vehicle. So like this is 91, 92. So it was like 4 years later. So kids that Like I know a friend of mine, Eric, who runs Toys and Tomfoolery over on Instagram. He didn't have the jetpack when it came out on the shelf because he wasn't collecting them then because he wasn't really that old or born at all. So he missed out on a lot of the late 80s stuff, which he then would end up finding because of these little mail away offers. And like the prices on them weren't really crazy. They always you tossed in flag points to save more money. The Sea Ray was $7.95 with 2 flag points. And the price without flag points would be $9.45. The G.I. Joe Hovercraft was $29.95 plus 5 flag points, or $33.70 without flag points. The Battle Barge and Jetpack are $3.95 plus 1 flag point. Skyhawk was $5.95. Martial Arts Unit was $6.95. Yeah, so not like expensive, but not cheap either. I mean, take inflation into account, and it really wasn't that expensive. The cardback for Overkill, who is the Bat leader, the Battle Armor Trooper leader, it does say how to take out the batteries, which was good. You unscrew 4 screws in backpack rear and separate from backpack so as to not destroy the speaker and wires. Remove old batteries. Insert 3 new A76 button-sized batteries as shown. Screw backpack rear onto backpack. To activate sounds, press one of the 4 buttons to avoid battery leakage. Make sure batteries are properly installed. Never mix new and old batteries. You can use your Sonic backpack as a handheld weapon. Phillips screwdriver required, not included. Battle commands and an electronic combat sound. 3 replaceable A76 button cell batteries included. See, I feel like a moron because I was like, what batteries do they take? What batteries do they take? And they're like, A76. A76, it says right here, 3 times, Chris. Pay attention, Boggs. Back of the card, we have a bunch of different other guys here. We have a lot of the people from the 94 lineup. So we have Duke, Wetsuit, Roadblock, Big Bear, Destro, Flak Viper, which has become very popular with people. General Flag, who did come with the USS Flag, and this was your first opportunity to get him without it. Another version of Gung Ho, Barricade, Wild Bill without the, Dragonfly attack copter. A very strange looking Firefly, a complete departure of how he used to look. And the Cobra Eel, which I think is awesome. You got a robotic shark that shoots torpedoes and doubles as a jetpack. It's not a bad thing. Is it neon? Yes, but still, it's, you know what I mean? It's not. Remember, G.I. Joe from 1982 to around about 1984 or 85 was like realistic military. After that point, you get into more, as Carson from 3D Joe's explained it with his Operation Recall line. It's more military fantasy, where it's like it's fanciful and doesn't have any basis in reality. Like, for example, I don't remember there being like robots walking around and fighting our armed forces back in 1988. We haven't had anything like that, and still don't. I mean, we have, Boston Dynamics has made some crazy things, but even today in 2023, there's no robots walking around screaming "Bats attack." Oh yeah, so the bubble on this is a little clear, but the inner tray is very yellowed. Yeah, no, this is a big backpack. Now it's cool to see him in person, because I've had the other one before. Like the one from that multi-pack. So getting to see him opened up and stuff is pretty cool. I don't want to mess up his little door because I've seen this thing break a bunch of times. But it's supposed to open. I don't know where his arm's supposed to go. I guess that seems a little strange. Where is his arm supposed to go? like the door opens and it just hits his arm. So I don't know how he's supposed to put his little buttons McBoom Boom guns down. But we'll play with that in a minute. Joints on him are pretty good, obviously, because he's brand new, freshly moved, live on camera. And he's supposed to be a complete robot. He's not a cyborg or anything. It does mention some things on his file card, which I'll get to in a minute, which makes me go, why would you need that if you're a robot? But his O-ring definitely needs to be replaced, as you can see how stretchy it is. Because, again, this thing's been held in place for about 30 years, so naturally the O-ring's a little shot. Wisely, Hasbro included figure stands with them, which they didn't used to do. This figure stand is dated 1988, so it was last time it was molded. And then you can stand him on there, or carefully do that. I don't know. Oh, no. Sometimes these stands don't fit their feet very well. I don't know why, but they don't. I actually put a stand on one of my version 2 bats, and it blew the back of his heel out. And I was like, oh, my God. I'm like... So sometimes they change the size of these because right now, like putting it in there, like it's not really going in very tight. Like I don't want to smash it in there. It's on there now, but I got to be careful. I don't want to break his foot. His lower legs looked like they were cast in red plastic and there was gold paint put on everything. His head appears to be gold. It looks like his arms are gold with paint apps, or at least his forearms. Gold plastic syndrome was a very real problem in the early 80s, late 80s, early 90s from Hasbro. It stems from a chemical mix. The plastics, when you do mixed colors like metallics and things like that, it's a... Because I know lots of people who make production toys like Glyos and Matt Dowdy and all that stuff like that. And the way they've explained it to me is sometimes it's like an impurity in the plastic mix, and then basically it just renders it prone to breakages, which is why a lot of gold plastic toys just don't last. Like if you're a Transformers fan, Roadblock, the Ultra Pretender, is a very cool toy, but his inner robot is completely gold plastic, except for his legs, like his toes. His head, torso, arms are all gold plastic. So you look on eBay for him and you find him wrecked all the time. So he has his little removable hand, which is standard for bats and stuff like that. And then he has this big honking gun, which fit nicely without any problems. One of the cool things about him is that since he has a rotating wrist, because his hand does come off, it does allow you to do some extra hand grip things, like with his holding his gun. So he can hold his gun in a unique way to other Joe guys, where he can kind of like be dual wielding it or holding it like, which is something I like to do with them. It just sucks that so many of them can't do that. They're, like the designers who made a lot of these guns did a great job, but they just can't hold them properly, and that's kind of annoying. I think this is a flamethrower, I think, according to the file card. We'll read the file card in a second. So we'll take off his little gun, put it in his other hand. You can just hold it like that. It's a robot. You can just wield it with one arm. And then you can pop off his there's a little accessory. It looks like it's just designed to torture somebody. I mean, now again, this is what's different from the multi-pack I got, is that this can peg on here. So that he can basically be walking around like, just ready to go F up the Joes. And yeah, that is very yellow. Well, that's actually something I didn't realize that actually most G.I. Joes don't come with inner trays. Usually they're just tossed in there with the bubble, but because of the battery compartment, they had to have it anchored in place. So let's see what we can do about reading his file card. Codename Overkill, Bat Leader. Overkill began as an experimental prototype for the third generation of bats. But because of his advanced microcomputers and enhanced tactical logic programs, the cost projections were too high for profitable mass production. He might have continued to gather dust on a shelf in the Cobra research labs if Cobra Commander hadn't decided to utilize him as a battlefield commander for the android troopers. It was Cobra Commander's idea to add a voice synthesizer program to repeat demoralizing slogans at deafening volumes. Overkill's primary job is to operate the destructive Cobra Earthquake battle vehicle. That's something they started doing in 92 that I didn't really like, where they got rid of specified pilots and drivers, which I thought was kind of one of the fun things about getting a vehicle. It was all right that there was a few that didn't have pilots and drivers, but they said, nope, nobody's going to have them anymore. And they started to put it into the file cards that like certain members of the Joe team and the Vipers were qualified to drive certain vehicles. So, for example, like he's supposed to drive the Earthquake, which is literally a giant bulldozer with destructive weapons put on it. So you're like, okay, cool. A fun toy? Yes. Practical for military use? Probably not. But a bulldozer, and this is if you go look on up online, look up the Cobra Earthquake. It's not tiny. It's like Overkill's like this, and then the bulldozer's like this. It's rather big. And then it points to different things on him. Opening chest plate reveals two 50 caliber machine guns. His left eye is an infrared night scope eye with telescopic analyzer built into it. And this is the part I thought was interesting. His 3 is an oxygen regulator mask. If you're a robot, why do you need an oxygen regulator? I've talked to Carson from 3D Joe's, and from what he understands, it was never supposed to be a cyborg or anything like that. So I was like, okay, I just think it's funny they put an oxygen regulator mask, because if you're a robot, why do you have to worry about regulating oxygen? 4, he has his turbo hydraulic legs. 5 is his sophisticated strength activation system in arms. So he's got extra strength in his arms because he's pointing to his arms. You know what the picture? 6 is his head. It's his techno-cerebral intelligence. 7, which is this thing, is his mind control memory drain unit, which makes sense because this thing, it's designed to go around a Joe's head and they basically like shoot a beam into his brain. So pretty hardcore. And then there's some other things that they don't show you listed here with little pictures and numbers. There's a shin-based fuel porta-packs, a hidden leg-based flamethrower, which is cool, and a psychic sensor backpack. I guess that works with that little thing on the top, maybe? I really don't know why the psychic sensors... Why would a robot have psychic sensors unless he's a cyborg? You're lying to us. Dirty cyborgs. Yes, that's another shot of his file card. See if you guys can see it. I apologize if I can't really zoom in on it. I'm doing this in like selfie mode, and I can't really do things like that. So yeah. All right, so let's get started seeing how this guy's action features are going to work, and we're going to do some repair work on the fly here on Obscure Toy Files. We're going to take his little gadgets, put them in there. They don't say what that big gun is, though. See, that's something they used to do. They would say what the weapons are on the side. It doesn't say anything on the side, honestly. It just says, as a ripped up part of the thing. Like, what does it say? The bubble just cracked? Wow. It just says contains figure and accessories. They used to list all the names of the items, which was useful because sometimes you didn't know what the hell the things were called. And then it was like, oh no, that's a vibro hammer. And you're like, I didn't know what that was. Thank you. All right, so let's see. Supposedly I can unscrew these. There's some screws in the front. So we will use one of my smaller little screwdrivers, and hopefully it will not cause any problems. Because since he's a talking battlefield commander, or the talking battle commanders, of which consisted of General Hawk, Stalker, and Cobra Commander, which was the first Cobra Commander available as a figure since, I think, the Battle Armor one in 1988. Excuse me. So the big problem with them is that their backpacks are kind of attached to their backs. They do not come out, which is unfortunate because then it makes it incredibly difficult to, like use them as as like other toys. They've made Sonic Fighters before. It was never a problem, but the Sonic Fighters all had different ways to. They're just backpacks. You just stick them on their back and take them off. That was it. Like they all came with them, so it wasn't an issue. They got a little screwdriver. Ooh, you hear that 30-year-old plastic going like. What happened? That was 4 screws. Jesus. I'm just going to put these in this little tray. Since we're doing this on the fly. It was a nice day out today. Come on, let's get out. Oh, you want to... There we go. That was a long screw. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place his O-ring at the same time. So let's help with the lighting. Let's see. Kind of. It's a very bright, windy day today. There's another screw. Wow, so many screws. 4. Well, see, that's the thing. It's not common that you'd have to take all this stuff apart. I mean, sometimes one of the things I like about G.I. Joe, especially the Vintage Joe ring line, actually most of the Vintage Joe ring line, is that they were very conscientious about how they were constructed, and whether through intent or design, they're very easy to take apart and put back together. So, like, if your figure's broken today in 2023. You can go and just pick up like spare parts on eBay. Like you can go look for, if you're building like a Night Creeper, like I have parts of a Night Creeper, for example, and you're like, oh, I wish I could have his arms. You can go on eBay and someone's probably going to be selling his arm. Or if you have a Night Creeper and his arm broke, All right, so we've separated the backpack. I just got to, and you can see there's the wires attached to it. It's a little rust damage. Wow. I don't know if this thing will work. We'll have to wait and see. You can see all the little circuitry on the inside. Yeah, so this thing is like a... This is different because typically they wouldn't allow for customers to take their shit apart. No pun intended. Usually it's like once it comes apart, that's it. Like you buy it, it stays that way. There is no... you know, like disassembling it. Now, this is the other tricky part, is that there are 3 very gnarly looking screws on the back that are they're screwing into his back. I don't know how I'm going to get these off. All right. It's got to go slow. Make sure you're using a Phillips head. Because you don't want to go too fast. Because you don't want to strip those screws. Because if you strip those screws, you're screwed. No pun intended. You'll never be able to get them in again. Yeah, these screws look like crap. They must have like oxidized or something. I don't know what happened. No, I don't know how I'm going to... Oh, okay, there we go. Thankfully, the speaker system just pops. There's nothing holding it in place. So we can take that over there, and that gives us free access to the rest of the screws on his back. Put the screw in. And I said, you just got to be patient and go slow. Because these things, when you're unscrewing them, like I said, the screws are old. And then you have to look for spare parts, like going to hardware stores and stuff like that. That's 2. 1 more to go. And we're good. Okay. Phew. Stressful, right? Like I said, but this is why I like G.I. Joes. Like Transformers, G1 Transformers, it depends. You can kind of take them apart, but not really. You know, that's unscrewed. We can just lift that off. And that lets us get to his back where the O-ring is. Or the O-ring thing. So we can see if we can open up his chest a little bit more now. Yeah, this is such a weird design, honestly. I mean, it's such a cool feature that he has like a little Gatling gun. I mean, it reminds me of Buttons McBoom Boom from Cops. The problem is, I don't know if it was the same on the other one. You really don't get a lot of room to move that chest out. Like, it kind of just, you know, does that. It doesn't really help. Let's see. We'll close that back up. And we'll get him taken apart. So I had to remove 8 screws to do this. 1 for his back. 3 that are the screws that screw into the backpack. And then 4 that hold the backpack together. And then he'll come apart. Like so. Yeah, that O-ring is quite stretched out. You can see. I don't know if I'll zoom in. This format isn't my best format for doing it. Oh, I dropped it. Ow, Okay, put all those pieces right there. Fortunately, I also have extra O-rings, because you can't be buying Joes and not have O-rings. But again, like I said, this is why I like this line so much, because if these are broken, they're very easily repairable. And it's almost relaxing in a way. Like, you know, people like trim bonsai trees. I put together G.I. Joes. It's not a bad thing. I have fun with it. That's for sure. Let's see. So let's put his... Now, to reassemble a Joe, if you're not aware, the easiest way is to hook the O-ring onto the T-bar where the legs attach, and then you take the pelvis and you just put it over it like that. Make sure the O-ring goes through the T-bar, not the other way around. And then I usually use a screwdriver, typically the one I'm using, and you just kind of loop it underneath so you get a grip on it, and you just pull it like that so then it's hanging on there. And you're good to go. Because they stretch, and there are more modern O-rings that are much more stretchable. And then you just take the back of the figure where there's that little bump. If you can see it. I don't know if you can. I'll get my fingers out of the way. Oop. That little raised portion. You just loop that over there. And you're good to go. Boom. And then you just then you have to sandwich everything back together again, which is always kind of tricky. You just got to take the head. I usually just kind of try to lay it on my hand to hold it like this. Because then you got to get the arm in there. It's not easy to do, like by any means, believe me. It takes a little bit of practice. And everything's lined in, and then you just take this. That was the head falling out. Oh, where'd that go? I got it. All right. It fell again, you motherfucker. Oh, where'd it go? There we are. Okay, everything's lined up, and then we're... there goes the arm. Like I said, not easy to do. Not horribly difficult to do, but it does take a little bit of work. If it takes any more work, I'll be pausing this so I don't waste everybody's time while I'm sitting here. Like, why is this old bearded guy like messing with these Joes? Show us the toys, Chris. Well, this is harder too because it has those two long posts. Those aren't there because remember, there's 3 screws that have to go through this thing to hold it onto the backpack. So this guy is not an easy dude to put back together. That I'm quickly learning. Oh, you motherfucker. Okay. Everybody's there. Everybody's in. Let's go. Please don't pull again. Okay, I got the arm in place. Got the head in place. We all in? Okay, good. Phew, that was a pain in the ass. Everything's back in. Now we will take his backpack screw and we will screw that back in. All right, and Overkill is ready to kill some things overly. Yeah, he's good to go. Okay, so we got that. Now, before we start putting all the backpack together, let me at least attach the back of the backpack or the front of the backpack. I'm going to put all this back together. Screw these back in. Do them each loose, and then we'll tighten them all up. Like I said, they really... I don't know why Hasbro chose to do it this way for the Talking Battle Commanders when the other Sonic Fighters had removable backpacks. I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to do something special. They were trying something out. Because they didn't do anything like this again. The Talking Battle Commanders had one wave, and then that was it. They didn't do any more like screw-on backpacks. Because honestly, it's a pain in the neck. I mean, even construction-wise, in the factory, I'd imagine it'd take them a few minutes to throw all this together. You know, like the factory workers are like, what are we doing now? How many screws is this thing taking? Oh my God, what do you guys expect us to do? Make sure these are all... Yeah, and all these screws have oxidation damage on them, so it leads me to believe this thing was in a basement. Okay. Now his backpack is reattached. Now we get to see, does this thing still work? So let's get these batteries out. Now, it says that, like I said before, make a note of this, they are A76 button batteries, which, in the modern world of 2023, are equivalent to... A76? They are equivalent to 357/303, which are these ones on the bottom. They all appear to be the same one. So we will just pop these open. I only need 3 of them. Button batteries. How much fun are these? You fuck. No! Anything fall out? Okay, good. Oh, those are the other batteries. Excellent. Okay, good. I thought I just knocked this entire thing over. Pardon my language, everybody. Well, hello there. Nobody look. Okay. These are the old ones? All right, so these are the old ones. So let's not mix them up. This is an old one. This is an old one. This is a new one. That you guys can tell because they're shiny things. You know, without the... Okay, so we're going to get our other section where we have our speaker. And we're going to put them in 1, 2, and 3. Will this work? No. Ow, did I get electrocuted? That hurt. Ah, what are these batteries a little? Doesn't do nothing? No, nothing? Oh, that's a shame. That is a shame. They don't make any noises. Unless I put them in backwards, which I might have done. Maybe I did put them in backwards. Let's try. Oh, get out of there! Get out of there! Let's try this way. I don't think that's the way they go, but can't hurt to mix it up. Oh, that was the right way. What the hell was that then? Ooh. Yay, it did work. Okay, cool. So just so everybody's aware, when you're putting them together, the rounder part where like the color is, that faces the spring. And then you're good to go. All right, so let's sandwich this guy back together. Very cool. Okay, good. I was going to be really sad if it didn't work. After all that work, I'd be like, you son of a bitch. I spent 30 minutes on this damn review and the batteries don't work. Hasbro, you've let me down again, even in the past. I'm not mad, Hasbro. I'm just disappointed. At least it still works. That's cool. Okay, let's get these giant screws back in. All right, that's really awesome. That makes me happy that those worked. I was going to be really... You have no idea. I was going to be really... I know bats attack. I get it, Overkill. You'll have the opportunity. Unfortunately, I don't know, all my bats are in storage at the moment, so you're going to be bossing around nobody. Yeah, he'll show up in the G.I. Joe 3.75 division photo comic. I know you will. A wipeout? I guess it says... That says wipeout. I'm like, of course it does. It's like, it sounded exactly like it. Really? No, not even remotely. Oh, cool. Wait, what? It didn't sound like shit. Yay! But no, there we go. All right, so that's good. And there was much rejoicing. Hooray. So this was a good review. It's 30 minutes long. I apologize that some of these videos are long. I'm hoping everybody's enjoying I'm trying to be thorough. I'm trying to be thorough with them so that, I like to inform people as well as just, I don't want to do like, I love Pixel Dan, but I see some of his reviews and they're really fast, like at 8 minutes, 10 minutes. He just comes in, talks with the figure, tells him to subscribe, and he bangs out. And I go, well, you didn't talk about it enough. These are old-ass G.I. Joes. He doesn't cover them, which is fine. And they're obscure because, well, at the Obscure Toy Files, we cover obscure, unique, and unlicensed toys. And as G.I. Joe was created by Hasbro, they are therefore unlicensed and then fall into the category of our channel. Awesome, yeah, so there we go. All right, so we're going to do some quick little thingies. You don't need to see my face for us. We're going to pause the video and flip it around, and we're going to just show you guys how the stuff works with some other figures. So give us 1 sec. All right, we're back. We're just going to do it this way so you guys can see everything a bit more clearer. It's a cool card art. And there's a little bit of the instructions. I can get them. Oh, there we go. So you guys can see what I was talking about. I don't need to. Why is the flash on? It's very bright outside. There we go. Yeah, no. So that worked out pretty good. I'm glad it worked. And here's a shot of his card back. You guys want to pause it and read it for a second? If you can see it properly. More of that artwork. And everybody else in the back. Some of the other... That's the Duke that's riding the missile launcher. That wetsuit's pretty cool. Roadblock isn't bad. I don't have Big Bear. Black Viper I've heard is cool, and I'm a big fan of that Cobra Eel. The version 3-1 from Battle Core sucks because he doesn't come with the cool backpack thing. Let's see. Just throw it. Who cares? Throw it over there. Who gives a crap? Not me. All right, let's see. No. What did you do, Chris? You ruined the whole thing. Okay. Where are Dummy Joes? Here we go. We're going to use a Dummy Joe in the way of... Look, the stars of G.I. Joe 3.75 Division. It's Rock and Roll from 1983 with Swivel Arm Battle Grip. Don't lose Pathfinder stuff. Okay. Hey, everybody. It's me, Rock and Roll. I'm ready to get attacked by a bat leader. Okay. Yeah, so Rock and Roll is getting his brain. No, why? Yeah, I mean, like, that's not... this thing's designed to kill somebody. It's not a happy way to go out. Terminator. Poor Rock and Roll is dead. Yeah, no, so it's pretty cool. I dig them. Maybe I should have not parked in the sun. I didn't realize it was going to be quite so sunny today. Alright, so that's our review on Overkill from the 1992 Talking Battle Commanders line. Overkill, do you have anything else to say? Wipeout. There are no bats. The bats aren't here to attack. Well, you can do that. You can destroy things. Go destroy him. Yeah. No, so honestly, if you guys are in the market for a battle talking Cobra Overkill, I would recommend him. He is pretty fun. It only cost, I think he cost me $40 on eBay carded. And again, not too bad. I mean, like, some of the 90s stuff can get expensive nowadays, but sometimes it's been going for more reasonable prices, which is fine with me. But some of them, oh boy, they're getting up there. And it's still too expensive to be even worth it. But that's also... Oh, did I just break his foot? Please say no. No. You heard that crack, though, right? That wasn't a fun sound. You gotta be careful with these foot stands, man. We're good? Good? Okay. Because if anybody needs a foot stand, it's... My God, like, this thing is... Like, it's a heavy backpack, man. Like, this thing is not little. So it's kind of like... You know, they wanted to integrate it as part of his, you know, thing. He's walking into battle carrying, like, a refrigerator on his back. Well, at least, like I said, at least it works. He's got a plethora of weaponry at his disposal. He's got his buttons big boom boom cannon, which he can't even open properly without putting his arm up in the air. Okay. So we can do that. Here's his little hand. You got to trick him out from maximum death. He wants to destroy. You want to destroy Overkill? We're going to help you destroy, buddy. You're going to destroy so much you're never going to know what to do with yourself. There you go. Now he's ready to... Yeah, so not bad. Like I said, cool figure. Definitely 90s. I mean, all the gold and yellow and stuff. And like I said, the backpack. You're not going to get a lot of crazy poses out of this guy. Unless you're really, you know, careful with how you... Like, when he shows up in the comic, I'm going to have to be very stealthy with the foot stand. Because I'm going to have to use one just to make sure that he can work properly. But like I said, him versus that the 3-pack version... I actually like this version. I like the colors. You know, it is obnoxious, but it's the 90s, so it's not unexpected. He's a cool action figure. Last time I checked, there aren't any robot attack androids in the real military, so I don't know what we're comparing this one to. But the Buttons McBoom Cannon, the psychic brain stealer thing, this big honking, I don't know what the heck this is supposed to be. Some other crazy gun. He's definitely going to all the G.I. Joes he can. So, and I do have bats in my comics. I might throw him in there as a bat commander just to be someone who's overseeing everything. That makes me really happy. All right. This was Boggs from Obscure Toy Files signing out. And remember, see you guys next time.